Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Rajal's Resonance by Ruby Dixon. Narrated by Hollie Jackson and Mason Lloyd. 1. Rosalind. I've been buried alive. Terrified, I squint at my surroundings. Everything's dark. So dark. I'm confused. I don't know how I got here or what's happened to me. It's bitterly cold. I think the cold is what woke me up. All I know is that it's pitch black in here, and when I put my hands up, I encountered the lid of my coffin a few short inches from my face. I'm trapped. I shove at the lid, frantic. Help! I cry out. Someone help me! My fists hammer on the lid of the coffin, and then I discover an upraised section that feels almost like a button. I push it, and a sound like a soda can opening whooshes around me. Sunlight floods in. Oh, I'm not buried alive after all. I gulp lungfuls of searingly cold air as the lid slides back, and then I sit up, clutching the edge of the lid. I'm not in a coffin, but I also have no idea where I am. When I look outside, I see nothing but snow and wintry mountains on one side of me, and on the other, there's a cluster of strange, dark gray metallic pods lined up on a circle of yellow grass. My breath puffs in the air around me. It's winter. When did it become winter? Hello? I call out. Anybody? There's no response. Whoever shoved me in this weird trunk has apparently already left again. My fingers prickle with cold and something pinches my arm. I lift it up only to see a tube running under my skin like a hospital IV. I follow the tube with my fingers, and it leads right into my strange trunk. With a whimper of fear, I yank it out of my arm and brace myself, waiting for a cacophony of alerts to sound. Nothing does. Okay. I have written some weird-ass fanfic in my day, but this is stranger than anything I could come up with. Swallowing hard, I rub my arms over my freezing body. That's when I notice my clothes, or rather my lack of clothes. I'm wearing a formless white slip that's tight over my breasts and loose everywhere else. The arms are bare, and I have a watch of some kind on my wrist, which is weird because I don't wear a watch. There are no shoes, and I can feel the cold weather nipping at my toes. Hello? I call again. Is this a prank gone wrong? If so, someone needs to get sued. Repeatedly. There's a muffled scream nearby, and all the hairs on the back of my neck stand up in response. I crane my head, turning around just in time to see what looks like a massive beast carrying a woman off over his shoulder. She screams again, flailing, and then they disappear into the snowy hills. This is definitely not like any fanfic I've written. Mine are full of cuddles, soft vows of love, men having babies, Spock and Kirk making out like bunnies and raising tribbles on a farm. I have never written a kidnap fic in my life, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't dream about one. I pinch my arm, hard enough that I draw blood, and I don't wake up. Well, fuck. Who was that woman? Who carried her off? Why don't I know what's going on? The soda can whooshing sound nearby sends a hot blade of terror through my body. I can't stay here for some hulking monster to show up and pick me off. I have to find safety. I have to find whoever brought me here. I have to find a freaking winter jacket so I don't die of exposure. I clamber out of the dark, strange coffin and hit the ground. Immediately my toes curl and I want to retreat back into the pod. It is cold. So cold that I know I can't get very far without shoes. Maybe I need to crawl back inside and wait for a rescue. A deep, unearthly groan comes from somewhere nearby. It's a bass groan, the sound much deeper than any woman could make, and I think of the stranger carried off by the monster. Definitely not staying. I quickly check my coffin for anything that might be a shoe, and when it provides nothing, I strip off my paper-thin gown and rip it in half. It's not protecting me from the elements anyhow, and I need to get away from here quickly. I grab handfuls of the strange, springy moss and make quick pillows out of it, then wrap the length of fabric around each foot. I'll be able to get somewhere faster if my feet aren't touching the bitterly cold earth. Rubbing my hands up and down my arms, I squat next to my coffin, trying to determine the best place to run to. There's a craggy cliff not too far away, and I can see hints of greenery on it. Perhaps there's a cave nearby that will allow me to get out of this horrible wind. I straighten, looking around to see if anyone is noticing the naked chick, and when the coast seems clear, I race for the rocks as quickly as I can. My terrified imagination throws 100 awful scenarios at me. That someone's going to grab me from behind. That the monster that carried off the woman is going to return and see me naked. That I'll never find anything and freeze to death, my chunky, dimpled ass hanging out of the snow. The library I work at will post a brief, written eulogy for me. Rosalind was a passionate employee and an advocate for books. Perhaps too passionate in her love for the Vampire Diaries or Twilight, as she wrote far too many strange stories about such things. She died as she lived, strangely and alone. Oh, and please remember to return your books on time. Yeah, that sounds about right. But I run toward the cliffs, my breath sobbing out of me with every step, my skin frozen and my body so cold I want to scream aloud, and no one stops me. I make it to the rocks, and the wind is slightly less brutal here. Glancing around, I touch the shale, and it clinks to my feet. The snows grow thick up ahead as the cliffs surge forward, like plates of rock rising from the snowy ground. I can continue forward and hope for a cave, or I can go back and crawl into my coffin and hope for death to be swift. I think of the monster who stole the woman again, and the fact that I'm naked and vulnerable and weaponless, and that decides me. Keeping close to the rocks, I move forward, teeth chattering. Just when I think I can't stand the cold any longer, I spot something ahead. Is that a cave? Am I going to be that lucky? Someone above must be looking out for me. Sure enough, I stumble into what looks like a small cave. I want to sob with relief at getting out of the wind, though it's not much warmer in here. My foot wrappings have lost almost all of their moss, and the fabric clings to my icy feet like a wet paper towel. It gets darker the further I stumble into the cave, and I'm dimly aware that this is how people get eaten by bears. But I'll take my chances with the bears at this point. With searching fingers, I feel around in the cave. I touch something furry and I scream, drawing backward in terror. Nothing lunges for me, though, and after a hesitant moment, I reach forward again. It's a fur, as in a fur blanket. Choked with relief, I unroll it and wrap it around my shivering body. Oh, God, that's so much better. I clutch it to my naked form and shuffle a little deeper into the cave, looking for anything else. If there's a fur blanket, there should be a person that this fur blanket belongs to, right? Am I somewhere in the wilds of Alaska? That would explain the snow, but not how I got here. I shouldn't be here. I live in... I pause. Where the heck do I live? The fact that I can't recall is a little worrying. It's the cold, I tell myself, blowing on my fingers. Once you warm up, your brain will kick in. Now you just gotta find a nice hot fire, Rosalind, or a cup of hot cocoa. I move even further back into the cave, and it's weird because I could swear it's getting warmer in the cave despite things. Isn't it supposed to be the opposite? Caves get colder the deeper you go inside them. Even a cave in a desert gets chilly at night. I know this because I wrote a fic for the movie The Mummy and did research on caves because I wanted to get a love scene between Evie, Rick, and Ardeth just right. I'm also a little worried about a cave-in. I saw a horror movie once where someone got squeezed into a too tiny crevice in a cave and never came out alive. I did not write fic for that one. I find the cave wall and press myself against it. There's a drip of water here and a bumpy, ridged rock formation that I feel with my hands. Water, I remind myself. Not ice. Water. That means it's above freezing in here. That's odd. A pebble clinks somewhere nearby. I freeze. Was that inside the cave with me or outside? All is silent for another long, tense moment, and I turn towards the entrance. No one's there. If someone's here, they came from inside the cave. Trembling, I hug the fur closer. "Hello?" I whisper. "Is someone there?" A hairy arm wraps around my waist. Another pins my shoulders against a hard, rock-like chest. The scream bubbling in my throat is covered by a third hand, and no one hears the monster drag me away, deeper into the cave.
2. Rajal. I play with one of the leaves of the thick vines in the fruit cave. Once, they were covered in fruit, but now they are picked clean. We are supposed to be here, solving this mystery, and yet my mind is on other things. I glance over at Teia. To say that things are going badly between us is very much a lie. But because she is the only unmated female, and I am the only unmated male, I feel obligated to make some effort toward her. Glancing over at Teia in the endless light of the fruit cave, I see that she is sitting on the ledge and has her knitting in her hands. Two long, pointed bone sticks move back and forth with a clacking motion as she loops a strange thread on the ends over and over again. She says it is a skill she learned from Tiffany back at Croton, that it helps her calm her mind. Perhaps I should take up knitting. My mind needs a great deal of calming right now. Because the more I gaze at Teia, the more I wonder what my khui is thinking. She is attractive, true. Her dark hair is springy and thick, and her skin glows with health. She is tall for a human and slim, and I found it thrilling to kiss her back when we first arrived on the beach, and she played her kissing games with the males. Unfortunately, she played kissing games with all the males, and I did not feel as if she truly wanted me. After that, I lost interest in her, focusing on Philor and her cheerful nature. If I had taken a pleasure mate to the furs, it would have been Philor, I think. We have been friends, and she hinted in the past that she wanted more, but I wanted to wait for resonance. Surely resonance would tap me soon, I figured, and I did not mind waiting. My khui would show me the perfect female for me, and then we would build our lives together. But then time passed, and one by one all the females resonated to others, even Philor. Now Teia is the only one left, and I am trying to get to know her after she has been gone for 3 turns of the seasons. It is proving more difficult than I thought. I bet they're together even now, Teia comments as she moves her sticks, looping the string. I bet they're just disgustingly happy. She's probably fixing his hair for him and laughing about the stupid man bun she gave him. She scowls down at her project, and her sticks slap together angrily. Stupid Irek! Stupid Philor! I grunt because, what can I say? Taia has teased Irek for many long seasons, and it was assumed they would eventually resonate. Philor and I have gone back and forth for many seasons, and it was assumed we would eventually resonate as well. But Philor and Irek have resonated to one another, and they are happy. I should be upset that I have lost out on the female I had selected as mine, but she never truly felt like mine. I am more upset that another option has been taken from me. Taia is bitter that Irek did not wait for her, but resonance chooses the mates, and it chooses when. She is just letting her anger and frustration speak for her. It makes it hard to look at her and think of her as a future mate. I watch her as she works, frowning down at her project. She does not seem happy to be here. Perhaps you should have remained behind. She puts down her knitting and gives me a miserable look. And what? Watch them kiss constantly? Watch them giggle over each other? Watch them be happy and in love and know that it should have been me? No, thank you. I'd rather be playing Fruit Cave detective with the rest of you. I do not ask what a detective is, but some of her words are wrong. If it was meant to be you, he would have resonated to you. Her jaw works. Maybe if we had come back a day earlier, it would have been me. But it was not. Taia shakes her head, not looking at me. I'm trying to have a pity party, and you're not helping, Rajal. Aren't you frustrated? Upset? How can you be so calm? Because resonance decides. If someone was meant to be mine, my khui would let me know. I shrug, feigning an ease I don't feel. It is not the loss of Philor that upsets me, but the knowledge that I am either to be mated with Taia, who I feel nothing for, or that I must wait even more turns of the seasons for one of the young females to come of age. That thought disturbs me as well, because I look at them as if they are my own kits, not as potential mates. They are all far too young, and it means I will be alone for a long, long time to come. Or with Taia. Which is why I am here trying to talk to her. I am glad you came with us, I try, attempting to distract her from her disappointment, though you should not have snuck away from the group. Taia tosses her mane and adjusts one of her loops. I needed to get away from the camp, just like you. And you know I'm right. If there's some computer stuff here, who's going to help you with it? Atam? Matak? Sabrin? I snort at that. The Shadow Cat Hunter has the best nose of any, it is true, but he is as dense as a Kari hatchling. Attar the Draconi is with us too, but he has not indicated any knowledge of the Elder's special machines like the human females and Matak. My fellow Tallhorn, Matak, and Sabrin are reliable and crafty hunters, good with a spear, but they are as clueless as I am when it comes to the strange things that the outsiders bring from the stars with them. Attar did not want females with us, I remind her, in case there truly is a stranger we have not met yet. Remember how Juth stole Revin? Taia looks up and gives me a patient stare. You and I both know no one else is getting dropped on this planet, Rajal. Like it or not, we're stuck with each other. She shakes her head, but I appreciate the company. Here I wanted to come back and show everyone how I've matured, and I completely lost it when I found out about Irek. I understand. She shakes her head at me. I don't know that you do. I feel we're on different pages. Pages? I do not know the word. Does she mean the stone cliff we stand upon? I glance down at my feet. Taia chuckles and then swipes at her face, an indication that she is crying once more. Never mind. I just need to work through it. My shit got turned upside down 4 years ago when we got here, and I was able to figure it out. I'll figure this out too. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to be alone. I hesitate because I should be taking this time to get to know her better. All signs point that I am to resonate to her, and yet I am relieved at the thought of leaving her presence. Her tears make me short-tempered, which is unusual for me. I am always calm and collected, but lately I have been feeling irritable, moody. I thought at first that it was because of my disappointment with Philor, but now I worry it is something else. It might be resonance. Why is it that the thought does not fill me with the joy it should? I eye Tia, who sniffs again, and I realize it is because I do not want to resonate to her. To me, she is like a younger sister, an annoying one. I rub my chest. I am going to visit Sabrin and the others. Shout if you need anything. She waves me away, not looking up from her knitting. Moving to the lip of the ledge, I jump down, grabbing the vines with ease and lowering myself down the cliff. Grabbing the vines like this reminds me of my time in the tall trees back home on the island, and I am struck with homesickness. Things were so much simpler back on the island. Everything was green and warm, and there were no females to fight over or feel the lack of. Now it feels as if I am the only one not worthy of a mate, as if the ancestor spirits and all the khuis have decided that Rajal is not strong enough, not devoted enough, not enough to join to a female. I make my way down the steep, vine-covered cliffs down to the bottom, where Attar and Mutak sit next to the pool, and Sabrin works on repairing his spear. They look up the moment I arrive. "Do you smell that?" Sabrin asks. I sniff the air, then shrug. "Smell what?" "Nothing," says Mutak irritably. "That is the point. There are no smells. No Metlek smells, no people smells, nothing that would indicate where all the fruit is gone. Whatever it is you are imagining you smell, it is not there." "I smell mushrooms," Sabrin says, "like we had on the island, the ones that grew under the ferns." "Mushrooms have no smell," Mutak points out. "Ask Atom if he smells anything." "Ask Atom what?" The shadow cat hunter emerges from the water, pushing his mane back from his brow. He looks over at the others. Attar stretches out on the warm rocks, hands behind his head. "They wish to know if you smell anything." "I smell Sabrin's feet," Atam jokes, and the other two snort with amusement. I scowl at their humor because it sits poorly with my already irritated mood. This is not a casual hunting party. There is a serious problem here in the caves. We need to pay attention and find the answer. The tribe has entrusted us with this. "Oh, were you busy hunting the trail above?" Mutak asks, all sarcasm. "I did not realize. Here I thought you were flirting with Tia." "Be silent." I move to one of the vines and touch it, as if a quick examination of the leaves will provide answers. We have already looked many times. There are no broken vines, no half-eaten fruit left behind, no pits from the stone fruit centers. All of the fruit that hung heavy on the vines here for anyone to forage and take has simply vanished. There are no Metlek scents to indicate they have visited and stolen the fruit. Tia and Attar have recently returned from the Croatoan camp, and they did not take the fruit. Ojek and Dissi were the last ones here, and they returned to camp days ago, with no fruit. It is a strangeness I do not understand. In all the turns of the seasons we have been at the cold beach, the fruit cave has always borne plenty of fruit, enough for both tribes to enjoy. It has never simply vanished, and the mystery of it is frustrating. If someone has stolen the fruit, who was it? And where did they take it? "Perhaps it was a stranger, like Rahosh suggested?" I offer again, fingering a leaf. I do not smell mushrooms like Sabrin does, but then again, mushrooms have no scent. "Then I would have scented him," Atom says. He taps his nose with one hairy forearm. "Shadow Cat has the best nose of all the tribes." Mutak rolls his eyes. Sabrin scratches his chin and tests the leather binding on his spear point. "Dissi and Ojek were the last here, yes? What if they chewed too much chakleaf and decided to steal all the fruit?" "That is a lot of chakleaf," Attar the Draconi points out. "But maybe they stole it and then forgot," Sabrin continues. "I know when I chew chakleaf, I forget that I have hands." Bini laughs at me. She says I stare at my hands all night long. If I can forget I have hands, maybe they forgot they stole the fruit? Then where did they take it? I ask. Not only is the fruit gone, but the supplies we kept here are gone too. The skins full of fermenting juice, the dried meat, the extra furs, all of it is gone. It is as if someone is trying to remove all traces of us from this cave. I rub my chin. What about the hole the sea fell down? The one behind the waterfall? Matak waves a hand. I checked. Nothing. I even went down the rope and tried the door that she said was there. Nothing has been disturbed, and there is no scent of anything but her and Ojek down there. I should check it myself. Mitak is irritable because he is away from his mate and their kit. He thinks this is a fool's errand, and so far he is not wrong. Is that not the only thing that has changed recently, though? Perhaps an outcast came from there instead of through the snows? From the ground? Atam shakes his head again, easing himself onto the ledge of the bathing pool. What do they eat? Dirt? Nothing grows inside a cave. They would have to come out for food, and we would have noticed the tracks. I am not convinced. There is something unnerving about the hole under the bathing pool, and I do not like it. It must be connected somehow. I will check it out tomorrow when the others are gone, perhaps. Besides, Atam says lazily, jumping back into the warm waters, if someone had been here, I would smell it. We all would. And that is what makes me pause. Because even though Atam's head is as thick as one of his mate's clay pots, he is not wrong. We would smell something if someone had been here, but the only scents are the vines and our own. Maybe the chackleaf theory is a good one. Bah! It is stupid, Matak says with an irritated shake of his head. We are wasting our time here. It is an idea, though, and the only one we have. Go out in the morning to look, I tell him. Check for old tracks or signs that the fruit was carried off. Check the nearest hunter caves. I will stay behind with Te'ia. Matak turns his irritation to me. That female. Why is she even here if she's not helping? She just sits and rubs her sticks together and cries over a wreck. He is not wrong. Te'ia swore she would help, and yet she is lost in her emotions. It is not Matak's place to judge, though. It was my decision to bring her, and I will say who comes and goes. She chased after us. What would you have me do? Send her back to camp? Yes, Matak says immediately. I glare at him because he does not understand the situation. He only thinks of our fruit-searching party, but I know what it is like to be surrounded by happy people back at the beach. I know what it is like to want to escape, to get away for several days, for any reason at all. That is why I let Te'ia stay. Because if I can hide away from the newly resonated pairs, she should be able to as well. Leave it alone, Matak. I lace my tone with a warning. She is not your female, and not your responsibility. She is not yours either, Matak retorts. Sabrin makes an unhappy sound. I growl at Matak because that is a cruel thing to say, and he knows it. Keep saying things like that, and I will make sure the healer has much to practice on. I look him up and down. It is not as if you are doing much either. Shall I get you some sticks to rub together as well? He makes a snarl of protest, jumping to his feet, and I know I have struck a nerve. While you have been playing with the female up above, we have been scouring this cave with our noses pressed to every leaf, every rock. You cannot say we have done nothing. He draws himself to his full height. What has crawled up your tail, Rajal? You are not like this. Sabrin puts a hand to his mouth, trying to mask his words. You know the answer. Valor, Atam adds helpfully, not even bothering to hide his comment. He is upset resonance avoids him like common sense avoids Sabrin. I wave them off, my mood black. They do not understand. No one understands. It is not Valor I am sad over. I am glad my friend is happy with her resonance. It is what she represents. It is that I am left with Te'ia, who is a stranger that I feel nothing for. It is that Te'ia is my last chance, and even now my chest remains silent. It is that I fear I will never resonate, never have the family and mate I have so longed for.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?